Good afternoon. Lamar Davis, Superintendent of Louisiana State Police. I'm here today to discuss the critical incident that occurred on November 6th. November 6th, I was contacted by the Parish Sheriff's Office, Mark Woods. Sheriff Wood requested LSP, Bureau of Investigation, Criminal Investigative Division, to investigate a deputy-involved shooting, which occurred in the city of Alexandria. The deputy was identified as Rodney Anderson. As a result of the investigation, we learned that Mr. Derek Kittling, who was from Alexandria, succumbed to his injuries. But before I begin, I'd like to offer everyone that has been impacted by this incident and this tragedy my prayers, my thoughts. This is difficult. It's difficult for the family. It's difficult for everybody involved, and my heart goes out to them. Additionally, I want to ensure that everyone knows that the Louisiana State Police investigation will be conducted thoroughly, fairly, and impartially. During the last 2 years, while I've been superintendent, I've made many reforms within our agency, some of which include how our investigations are reviewed and communicated to our public. One of those reforms include a critical incident briefing. A critical incident community briefing is our platform for providing information to our public in relation to critical incidents involving police, especially when it results in serious injury and death. When Louisiana State Police is requested to investigate an officer-involved shooting, in-custody death, or other incidents that may result in serious injury or death, we will coordinate with the Louisiana law enforcement agencies involved, prosecuting authorities, and family members before critical incident community briefings are released. The same goes for any incident that involves DPS commissioned officers or troopers. Speculation and opinions will not be given in critical incident briefings. Only facts will be presented as we know them at the time the video is produced. The incident that occurred in Parish on November 6th remains under investigation. However, a critical incident community briefing has been produced. We will now play the briefing for you. This will also be available on the Louisiana State Police YouTube channel. The link will be made available on our social media platform, Facebook and Twitter, and a press release will be distributed following this press conference. I'm asking for the community to remain patient as we continue to conduct a very thorough investigation. All final reports will be turned over to the Parish District Attorney's Office for review. Also, as I conclude, I ask that anyone with information regarding this incident, please contact our agency. You can contact us by going to lsp.org and completing our suspicious activity reporting form, downloading our See Something, Send Something app, and sending via that method. Contacting our Fusion Center hotline at 1-800-434-8007, 1-800-434-8007, or calling Troop E at 318-487-5911. Lastly, I will ask again for your patience and understanding as we continue to gather the facts in relation to this video. We'll now move forward with the video. We'll now open the floor for any questions.
Colonel Davis,
Sir.
do we have any idea why the officer pulled him over? What was the probable cause?
Based upon the information we have at this particular time, the officer reportedly pulled Mr. Kittling over for a violation with this window tint and modified exhaust.
What does that mean, modified exhaust?
Essentially, whenever an exhaust or added something is added to the exhaust that the manufacturer has on, that modifies it to either sound louder or create a different effect than what the manufacturer has put on the vehicle.
Do we have any idea why this deputy in Parish seemed to be out of his jurisdiction? Based upon our sources, he should have been miles away, possibly in DeVille, on patrol, but he was in the lower third area of Alexandria. Any explanation as to why he seemed to be in the city limits as opposed to outside city limits?
At this particular time, based upon the information we received, Sheriff's Office received some information regarding some subjects being in that general vicinity with weapons. The sheriff, as I understand it, requested additional resources to move towards that location.
Do we know anything about Deputy Anderson, Rodney Colt Anderson's history in reference to being at another police department, and maybe why he was no longer at the department and ended up at the sheriff's office?
We're in the process of gathering that information now, sir.
One final question.
Yes, sir.
I've been pulled over by police, as some of you may have, several times. I've never encountered a situation where an officer didn't immediately let me know what I was being pulled over for. And in conjunction with that, is that standard operating procedure for any officer to put his hands on a citizen prior to letting him know why he was pulled over?
Well, I can't say all officers or I know all of the policies of other agencies. This happens to be with another agency. We are also gathering that information with regards to their protocols, their policies, their training, and so forth. And we'll be able to better determine that information once we receive that information.
Was Kittling actually tased before he was shot?
Actually, we are in the process of determining that. We can't say for certain that he was actually tased or whether the officer was tased. There's a lot that goes into researching this, getting with the manufacturers to understand what the device entails, as well as who gets impacted when those taser probes go out.
Once that taser is deployed, it can't be used again, right? Immediately after it's already deployed. So if Kittling got a hold of the taser after it was deployed, is that enough justification to take the shot?
Well, and that's the information, again, that I would ask that the public allow us to get with the manufacturer to determine, because there is reports that once those probes go out, that particular taser is no longer effective, and we need to verify the capabilities of those devices with the manufacturer.
Where was Kittling hit when the deputy fired?
Based upon autopsy reports and information received, he was shot in the head.
And is that standard, or is it typical for that to be where the shot would be aimed at?
Well, sir, we can't always look at the end result because of the confrontation. That's something that we're obviously looking at the autopsy, looking at the reports, looking at everything involved to determine, why there. But that's not something that we can say, in a normal circumstance, or there is no, quite frankly, best case scenario when you have to draw your weapon and when you have to use your weapon. So it's important for us to understand that, this was during a struggle, and during that struggle, then that's what occurred, and we're trying to get down to the bottom of that.
During an interview.
We'll take one more question, so I don't know if any other outlets has another question.
I actually have a question.
Okay.
What next, Colonel? We have this information in front of us at this point, and we don't have clear answers at this point in time. What comes next? Can you help identify and, just to help clarify to the public, because there's a lot of folk out there with tons of anxiety right now as to what's coming next.
Yeah, and this is why I ask the public to be patient with us. Oftentimes when we have these types of situations and incidents, there's the expectation that, we can wrap up an investigation of this magnitude within a week or two, and it doesn't necessarily happen that way. We have witnesses that we have to interview. We have additional evidence that we have to secure, and as we secure that evidence, for us, what's next is to continue to conduct a very thorough investigation. We're not going to do anything, take any shortcuts. We're going to turn over every stone we can to make sure that we get the facts for this investigation. And once we do that, then we're going to turn over our investigation to the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office. District Attorney's Office, not Sheriff's Office.
Just as a follow-up to that, Colonel, is there any kind of timeline to that particular?
No, sir. And as I've indicated, sometimes those things are dependent upon other people. They're dependent upon our processes, and those processes are not concrete in stone. If we issue subpoenas, if we issue warrants and things of that nature, then it may take time for us to retrieve the documents or information that we're seeking. And unfortunately, we can't say for certain that it's going to take a week, it's going to take 2 weeks, and so forth. So that's why I'm asking for everyone to be patient, because we want to make sure that we get all of the facts before we turn this case over to the DA's office.
Colonel, let me commend you real quick. I think certainly had your department not been involved, that we wouldn't be here today watching this video. I've been covering these types of stories for 20 years, and I've never seen a video released so expeditiously, particularly here in the central Louisiana area. So I want to commend you and your department. And have the family seen this video prior to us seeing it? And what was their reaction?
Well, the family has seen this video, and I really don't want to comment because this is difficult. And my heart goes out to the family. And to be honest with you, that's not for me to comment on.
And one of the family members is Lieutenant Colonel Kenny Van Buren, one of your troops.
Yes, sir. It's a tough time for all of us. It really is tough, and it's tough on us. But we're going to do our jobs. We're going to do what we've been called to do. We're going to do it thoroughly. We're going to do it fairly. We're going to do it impartially. And you're going to get the facts as we get them. And then we're going to turn it over to the district attorney's office and allow them to do their jobs.
Yes, I'm here for the Louisiana Illuminator.
Yes,
And at the family's press conference the other day, I thought I heard that RPSO Sheriff Wood had been requested to turn over his phone as part of the investigation, and that he had not. And I was wondering if you could, comment on that.
I can tell you that the information that we've requested thus far has either been provided to us or is in the process of being provided. We have not experienced any challenges at this point where there has been no request that we've asked to be fulfilled that hadn't been fulfilled.
I didn't follow you. Did you ask
And
him
other-
to turn over his phone?
I can tell you that we are looking for all facts and evidence. And to be honest, I'm not in the process. I'm not the investigator. So I don't want to give you an answer that I don't have an answer to. And quite frankly, I don't have an answer to it, whether every bit of requests have been fulfilled.
And just as a follow-up, I think there was another technical issue too, that they're supposed to contact APD as a courtesy, and there was a concern that maybe that didn't happen too.
I'm not sure, and that's why we have to get those protocols. We have to get their policies and operating procedures, and as we get that, then we'll be able to better determine whether they followed them or not.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank y'all very much. From here, we'll be sending out the updated press release with the link. We'll also be posting this press conference and the link on our Facebook page, our Twitter page, and also on our website.